Hey everyone, welcome to SmiteReplays.com solo shoutcast. My name is Dry Bear, and this time around I'm going to be casting a ranked game. SmiteReplays.com is a website that's currently in development where you can go and check out top Smite replays, replay numbers and IDs for tournaments and big events, and it's basically going to be your local community hub for all Smite replays. Without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the gameplay here. This is going to be a random solo ranked match. All these players did solo queue by themselves. The reason being that if a hot fix or a patch comes out, old replays are no longer viewable, which means I cannot view the old tournaments. This is recorded before the second Curse tournament, so all the previous tournaments are not viewable at this current point in time. So I'm going to be just casting this solo ranked match. All these players are coming in. We do have a few notable members in this match. So it's definitely a very high rated match. You'll see some Curse members, Backfire member as well. So let's go ahead and head into the action before too much happens here. As Ra is being played by Dolt from Backfire, we have Tinus98 on Odin, laning with his lane mate on her, played by Weast. In the left lane, we will have the best from Curse playing Hercules, and then his lane mate will be Fat Masta playing Thor. So we will see a Hercules Thor lane in the left lane. Very aggressive, very good poke, very good sustain as well. Colloquially very strong, and characters that are very beefy but also good at dealing out damage. Hercules and Thor together generally can take a beating and give out one at the same time, so definitely a very scary lane. Not very common, but something that does work well together. And then on her and Odin, very strong. You can pop down the Odin spears on his ultimate and then impale them to him using on her. The spears do count as an obstacle that can impale players into it. And for the red team, we'll have Lars playing Loki, laning with his lane mate Sobek, played by Strike90. In the mid lane, we will have Pon from Curse Gaming playing Agni, and then in the left lane, we'll have Guan Yu played by Lennox, laning with his lane mate T Ruthless 47 on Neith. Now, Neith is kind of making her way into the competitive scene. She's very, very strong. Honestly, could replace a on her if used correctly. Now, at the very basic level, Neith is a very simple character. She has a good root, she has a good heal, good sustain, and she has an escape mechanism and then an ultimate which does a stun and physical damage. However, at the maximum level, when you master Neith, she is so deadly because basically the mastering part that comes out is when you interact with the weaves effectively, meaning you get double hits off with the spirit arrow into the broken weaves or hitting the broken weave with your ultimate, which honestly not many people have reached that level just yet where they can interact with the broken weave and be able to get an AoE stun. If you hit your ultimate on a broken weave, you will do an AoE stun and physical damage. So it's very, very powerful, only requires forethought and preemption where you kind of place down the weaves ahead of time or get a good death on the enemy team. So if an enemy dies, they will drop a broken weave, so very important there. We do see Thor actually laning with Ra, and we will have a Hercules in the mid lane as the best from Curse Gaming takes Hercules in mid lane. I assumed Ra would be mid, as that would be best, but this is all solo queue. This is not a team game, so they're just going to be able to do what they want. We do have Pon playing Agni here in the mid lane, doing a great job of poking this back. Let's take a moment to look at the starting items. We do see Ra actually went for a Doom Orb in the side lane after they get a double root off on the Neith and a slow down from the Guan Yu, popping the Towel Assault to poke him down. Just barely getting out is the Thor. Neith doing a backflip. Popping the sprint is Ra. Might go for a kill here, but might be a little bit too aggressive. 2v1. Lands on the Celestial Beam. The girdle comes out, and the dash from the Guan Yu would finish off the Ra. Hyper aggressive there. Not really worth it, but popping the sprint just in case. Driving Strike into the tower is the best. Pon dropping quite low. It's curious to see two Curse members going against each other here in this ranked match. In the right lane, we see some action going on as Odin and On her going at this. Sobek actually taking a lot of harassment and going very low in mana as well as he gets impaled into the wall. Great impale there by the On her. Might be able to pick this tail up. Dunking down and smacking for the last hit is the Odin for one kill for both teams now, 1-1 here at the 4-minute mark, doing a great job of poking and poking back. It seemed like Sobek was taking a beating, and this is one of the downsides of Loki, is Loki's early game is good in the fact that he has a lot of damage. However, he is very susceptible to damage himself. So he has to expose himself to deal that damage, and a lot of times it's very punishable. Most of the time, if your support tank is taking a lot of damage, you can't really go in. You can't really commit, and that's what we're seeing here in the right lane as Loki's having a tough time coming out far enough to damage anybody. You see that On her and Odin are both full HP and just able to do whatever they want, as the Sobek is having a lot of trouble here in the right lane, getting poked down a lot. So back to these starting items, we do see Ra starting with a Doom Orb Sprint in the left lane. Very cocky build. It's possible he wanted to go mid with a Doom Orb. We don't really often see Doom Orbs in the side lane for magic damage dealers. Heartseeker does pay out because they give you movement speed, but the Doom Orb gives you no movement speed, and magic damage dealers are generally very, very squishy and very easily killed, especially when they go into the side lanes. So that could have spelled Ra's Doom. Also, the hyper aggression, they're not really warranted either. We do see one Mark of the Vanguard up for the Odin, and after the adjustment to the damage output from, or the starting items being the, see, we got his initiator jump. Each aim used by the Ra going to back off. One slow on top of Guan Yu. Guan Yu going after the Ra. Ra dropping out 1/3 HP. Then he's actually going to backflip towards the enemy tower, trying to get this Ra down. Uses Celestial Beam, just barely missing the Guan Yu. Neith trying to get this kill. 2 more hits will do it. The dash comes in. Might have Towel Assault up, but the Thor's going to zone him out. Might actually get the kill here. Hits the backswing from the hammer and teleports to it. Now going after the Neith with the Berserker Barrage. Is it going to be enough? It's not, as Unravel comes out and he's going to pop his ultimate. Is he going to be able to dunk this down? Here comes the Thor ultimate. Can he land this? She's trying to avoid it the best as she can. He's waiting as long as he can, making her dodge, landing on top, and the Searing Pain comes after for a double kill here in the left lane. Great teamwork by Fatmaster and Dolt on Ra and Thor. A lot of damage output and good sustain. Ra doing the best he can to wiggle waggle, avoiding as many basic attacks. And this is one of the greatest things about Smite, folks, is that you can avoid basic attacks, you can avoid skill shots, you can avoid as much as you can. As long as you are being tricky, you can definitely take down as he gets dashes away from the push, not taking damage from the Dragon Strike, and burning the range minions as well. Great reaction there from the Pon. As Loki does go down on the right lane, see if we can't back up and catch that action. Impaled on top, Desert Fury comes out. Getting pushed away is the Sobek. Going to tower range on her, taking a little poke there, but Loki does get picked off, and that's one of the biggest problems about Loki, as mentioned earlier, is he's very easily killed. He went in trying to get some damage. You see he dropped Odin to about 1/3 HP, but couldn't really get the kill without the Sobek's help. And since Sobek is underfarmed at this point, didn't end up dying there. If he gets focused, he just dies, as you see the new effects coming in through as the minions fly away. The minion death animations have been upgraded to include how they died. Pon taking decisive advantage here. Do keep in mind that Agni is actually still bugged, so his Flame Wave will occasionally double hit, doing 2 sources of damage as the best tries to get out here with Hercules popping that 3 a little bit late, but still healing up a bit. So we see the starting items, Death's Toll, being picked up by Thor, Hercules, and on her. One of the greatest things about the Death's Toll and the Vampiric Shroud is they got buffed at the same time that Mark of the Vanguard got nerfed. So we do see the availability of starter items for all types of characters, and we see them getting picked up by all characters as well. Vampiric Shroud obviously giving you a lot of health, magic power, MP5, and the ability to kill anybody. When you kill a minion, you will gain health and mana back, and the Death Toll obviously giving you health and mana back every time you land a basic attack. Thor waiting for opportunity to get this Neith here. She lands the root, knows he's there, he's going to teleport through, and the Berserker Brush comes out, doing good damage to her. And you see that the output of Thor is quite amazing. One ultimate on top, both ultimate landing there, and one last hit will pick him off. That was great coordination by the Neith, and the Agni landing the ultimate, the World Weaver from the Neith. As the Guan Yu comes behind, the Searing Pain's going to pick off the Neith, but Guan Yu's going to pick off the Ra. Huge exchanges here in the jungle for both teams. Again, that was a great interaction from the Neith and the Agni. Neith landed the ultimate, and Agni knew that the ultimate was coming out and immediately reacted with his Meteor Rain Fire, hitting that damage down. Hercules trying to go after the Agni here. Agni does not have a dash at this point, quite low on mana as well. Impale just barely missing there. Actually could have impaled him to that obelisk. Probably wouldn't have been enough unless the Hercules rock came out, which it could have. If they comboed that together, they definitely want to take that down. Honor actually has an ultimate as well, so if that Impale came out, it's possible that Agni would have died there in the mid lane, but unfortunately that Impale does miss. And you saw the interaction there. Ra ends up picking the Neith off. Definitely worth it for him as he is playing more of a support role. Actually, not so much. Generally, he would be when he's laning with his lane mate Thor. However, he went for a Doom Orb, so it's unfortunate that he's died twice already. Does have 2 kills, but has died twice. And do keep in mind that those kills are not going to give him any stacks. It's just going to be last hits on minions, which he's competing with Thor for. So definitely not a great choice on the Doom Orb here in the left lane, but if they were winning, it would have paid off for them. Guan Yu doing a good job of being very hyper aggressive and using the girdle at the right time, although Neith is being very heavily focused by the damage output, and Thor playing a very convincing Thor, taking his picks when needs them and poking with that Mjolnir's Attunement here in the left lane. Right lane we see Odin having a slap fest with the Sobek, doing a great job of just pushing this lane out, trying to keep pressure on here as Loki goes in the mid lane to do the damage buff and runs into Hercules in the process. Driving strike into Loki. You see Loki taking so much damage by the Hercules Earthbreaker and then the rock on top as he lands. Huge damage output. That rock, the excavate from Hercules, it does so much damage, especially used in tight corridors where it can bounce off walls and do multiple sources of damage. So great damage output there. But you can see the downside of playing a Loki. He's just so squishy, and if you're not careful, you can easily fall to any sources of damage. Pops that mitigate wounds, make sure he's going to heal up from that rainfire, give him a good health back from that. As you see initiation in the left lane, Thor getting jumped on by the Guan Yu, teleports away the owner's attunement, and Guan Yu now chasing. Ra going after the Neath now. See if he can pick this off. Sprint gets popped by the Ra, going to back off. Tectonic Rift going out there. And they're just going to back up to the tower. But now the enemy team, the red team, has an advantage pushing this tower, as Thor will have to go home. And Ra is about half HP. Ra may stay just to defend the tower, but that's going to be about it. In the mid lane, we see Pon going for the tower kill in the mid lane. Might actually get it. He's at the back off here, as Hercules does return. Loki going for the damage buff. He's running into on her yet again. Can Loki burn this down with Agni around the corner, doing some damage there? Impale on top of the obelisk now comes around. Uses the ultimate, as the ultimate comes out from the Agni as well, using each hand to avoid that damage. Hercules coming through. Can Hercules pick this off? Hercules does not have a rock at this point. Sobek coming in from the backside, now going after the damage, picking off the on her with the ultimate is the Agni. Agni now backing off, trying to zone this out. Loki getting so low. Diamond Strike's going to pick off the Loki. Odin coming out, trying to pick off the Agni. Agni cannot dash through the spear at this point. Tries to kill time with each ambient, dashing away, doing some damage there. There comes the ultimate, now getting so low. Tail Whip comes out, but out of mana is the Sobek, and they're going to back off here as Agni comes through. Thor now coming through. Ultimate comes out from the Thor. Thor going to dunk down, but gets picked off on the Agni. Huge exchange there as Thor does come down where he was in the mid lane. So we're going to be pushing this back up. Huge exchanges there, and you can see the squishiness of the Loki, the liability that you'll have when playing a Loki character. You really only have to go for advantages as they're handed to you. Loki is not an initiator. Loki is not someone that can force advantages or force exchanges. He's one of those characters that needs to get in, get his dirt done, and get out. That's how you need to play Loki. And Loki just keeps going for that damage buff in the mid lane, and it proves to be his downfall, as every single time he got caught by Hercules, died there, got caught by Onher, ended up dying there, although Onher did fall as well. So definitely a decent exchange, but Agni died in the process, so definitely not great for the red team. If we look at the gold numbers, we see that the blue team is up by about 400 gold, so not really the biggest of advantages, but definitely something palpable, letting you know that they are taking a good advantage, 8-4 here. And really one of the greatest things about Smite is that not Ra dying in the left lane as Guan Yu jumps in and picks him off. Berserker Barrage, enemy owner's attunement. Guan Yu might run through the tower. He kind of has to at this point. Neath a little bit too far away. Now Fat Master trying to go after the Guan Yu, getting solo, dashing away, running into the Neath, and goes into the buff camp to avoid it in case a Spirit Arrow came out, but it did not. Backflipping away now. We see Thor coming to clear this back up, trying to get that Guan Yu. Guan Yu actually picking off the Ra, and Ra proving to be a bit of a liability for his team here, picking up the Doom Orb, going for the sprint, and just dying constantly. And if you do have an item like the Doom Orb, which is meant to snowball you, and you continue to die, you will be falling more and more behind, as the Doom Orb does not provide much advantage if you are not stacking it up. Very cheap item, but doesn't provide much unless you have stacks on it, and if you're constantly dying, you can't utilize it to its fullest. Pon heading home. We see items being picked up. Reinforced boots being picked up by the Agni, going into a Spear of the Magus. Good damage output. Definitely very important for Agni players to pick up penetration, especially, as it is so key for his damage output to be able to utilize that. Loki picking up a tier 1 Devourer's Gloves, going to go for that early game sustain as Ra runs into Agni in the mid lane and is forced to retreat, getting very, very low there. Agni taking a decisive lead in this mid lane, as the mid tower is the first tower to fall. The enemy mid tower is quite low. If we check out the mid tower for the red team, is very, very low. About one hit here. So Hercules could even run by, pop his 3, and take this out and get out. As Ra gets picked off in the jungle there. Looks like Agni catches him. He's trying to run away, popping down the Ignite and burning him down for a free kill. 8-6 at the 13.5 minute mark now for the blue team. We do see the red team actually taking about a 1k advantage now in the gold, actually coming back down in kills but up in gold. And this is one of the greatest things about Smite, is it's all about how the players play it. It's very skill-based, and the skill ceiling is very high, so it's very easy for players to just come in and take a big advantage after losing so many kills. Now going after the Neath is the Thor. Thor definitely have a big advantage here. Neath very low on mana. Backflip coming up soon. Is she going to be able to get out here as Thor backs off? Does Thor have an ultimate? He does if he decides to use this. Tectonic Rift coming up soon. Might be able to block her in. Looks for an opportunity to do so. There goes Miona's attunement. Berserker Barrage not going to be able to hit her as Guan Yu comes back in and going to be forced to retreat. You see in the jungle there, you see Loki coming from the right side on the flank, but try and pick off this Thor as Guan Yu might initiate on him. Titanic Advantage drops down, slowing him. Uses the Aegis Ammon. Now Loki is here, going to be able to burst him down so low. Can he blink out in time? Does get the blink off. Ultimately come out from the Loki. Loki actually misses the blink there and does pick him off before he can spin up in the air. huge burst by that Loki, even with so little items. And this is really what Loki excels at, is getting that burst and picking off a character when they're in a bad spot. Hercules going in the mid lane and poking down the Agni with his club. Popping the mitigate wounds. Agni's going to wait until that does end before doing some burst damage. Rock tries to come out but gets stunned in the process. Path of Flames coming through. Now 2v1 in the mid lane as Odin does show up. Hercules quite low. Gunner's Mine on top of the Agni. Now going after this. Ultimate comes out from underneath. Not going to be enough to finish him off though, as he does back off. Odin poking him down. Neath coming to the mid lane trying to help out the Agni. Agni have a pretty decisive level advantage here at the 15-minute mark. Rainfire coming down again. Going after the Agni. Agni dashing out. On her might get caught here as he's over in the right lane. Going after the Sobek. Might run to the Neath. Neath might land a root here. Going after. Does land on top of the Honor. Honor impales her backwards, but still doing a lot of damage. Can she get there in time? Unravel doing a lot of damage here. Chasing him. Can she grab this kill? Needs. Ultimate is down by her. She's going to back off as he impales out. Going after the damage on the Neath. Poking him down. Sobek coming through. Going to back off there. Ra pushing the left lane by himself. Huge mistake here as Guan Yu comes from the backside. Mystical Mark is finished up for the Guan Yu. Using Tower Assault to poke him down, and Loki comes out from the backside, clearing him out and dropping him down for the 5th death of Ra with a Doom Orb left lane. Quite a mysterious left lane build for the Ra, especially with how aggressive he wants to be. Definitely need to play it safe without movement speed as a magic damage dealer in the side lane, and need to stack that up before you go aggressive. Hercules not even caring about the damage out of the Agni. Path of Flames on top and doing some good poking. Great usage of the mitigate wounds. He's going to heal that damage all back up there. The mitigate wounds does, for a 4-second window, will capture all the damage you receive and then heal a percentage of it back to you. At max rank, heals over 100%, so you gain back more HP than you lost. Thor going after the Loki here. Pops up the ultimate. Loki stick next to Guan Yu. Smart play there. Use the Aegis Amulet to buy some time, but Thor can land down on top of it. He's going to be enough to pick him off here. Berserker Barrage will kill the Loki as Hercules does die in the mid lane. We can back up and catch that. Hercules going against Agni in the mid lane, dropping that down. Very full on HP, actually. I'm surprised to see he did fall. Path Flames does come out. Great stun there. Pops mitigate wounds. Ignite does come down. One ultimate, another stun. Path of Flames on top of him. Driving Strike away. Pushes him closer to him, actually. Rock comes out. Not going to hit twice, though, as the Ignite does finish him off. Back to left lane. We will see Loki fall yet again as the dunk comes down. Berserker Barrage finishing him off. Now turning around to fight the Guan Yu, using the back off or try and fight this. We'll see. Does have the Mystical Mark, so a lot of physical protection up on the Guan Yu. Guan Yu has an advantage here. As you can see, Thor not doing a lot of damage to him at all, but still choosing to fight this. Curious enough. Gonna have to blink out there. Guan Yu does not have his ultimate. He popped the ultimate on the Thor, trying to prevent him from killing the Loki. Wasn't going to be enough. As the Rock comes through, lands a Celestial Beam. His ultimate would be close, but not enough. As you can see, he drops quite low. Using the HM, unfortunately, not going to be enough to save him there. Now caught out by the Ra. This would be a huge pick for the Ra as he pops the sprint, knowing he needs to get this kill. Missing a Celestial Beam, unfortunately, still chasing the Guan Yu, trying to pick this up. Guan Yu tries to juke away to avoid the Celestial Beam. One more hit from the Celestial Beam will do it. If he can land this last skill shot, he'll be able to pick this kill up. Celestial Beam comes down and picking him off on the outside. Huge pick. Ra definitely needed that boost in gold and experience as he gets his 3rd kill of the game. 5,900 gold individually for the Ra. We see the gold numbers now shifting to about even, almost exactly even, only 100 gold advantage for the red team, 11-9. The kill advantage does go to the blue team, however, going on to the 18-minute mark now, as On Her will pick up the movement speed buff. The movement speed buff is so good in this game. Gives you movement speed and attack speed, so if you're a physical carry, it is so crucial to pick that buff up, as it does go to the Hercules. Check out the item builds yet again. Hercules is going for a Devourer's Gloves, actually, so for some sustain and lifesteal here in the mid lane. Driving Strike to clear that wave up. We see an Executioner being picked up by the Honor, and a Void Blade 3 up on the Odin, and the Void Blade coming out from the Thor. Very, very strong items for them. I'm honestly surprised that Hercules ended up picking up Devourer's Gloves. You can see his individual gold is quite high since he did play the mid lane. Now doing some damage there. Dropping that down. We see On Her in the right lane getting jumped on by the Sobek, dropping quite low. Ultimate from underneath is going to hit him, but not going to be able to finish him off. Charge Spray on top of the Odin, but Odin can easily just jump back into tower range if he needs to, even rooted. Not much of an issue for him there. Hercules going at it in the mid lane yet again against the Agni. 2 curse members fighting at it. Rock comes out doing a lot of damage there. Does he have a Path of Flames? He does not. Gets picked off by the Hercules and the Rock here in the mid lane. Probably the mitigate wounds, but here comes Guan Yu to drop on top of the Hercules. Can he pick this off? Slowing him down. Rock comes around the backside as well, slowing him down with the Divine Light. And Thor's going to drop in on the fun. It's a party here in the mid lane as Thor drops in. Guan using attack disadvantage trying to drop it down. And Searing Pain does come out. Titanic Grip does not land, unfortunately enough, as Loki comes from the backside. But Loki's going to be very careful here. Does not want to initiate here. 3v1. Could easily die as he comes behind, attacks the Raw. Now caught. Uses the ultimate to get away. Mjolnir's teammate comes out trying to burst him, but not going to be enough. Huge risk there by Loki. Ended up having to use Sprint and his ultimate just to get out with no real opportunity to kill there. Charge Spray comes out. Tail Whip to prevent him from leaping. Neith does not have an ultimate at this point in time. Do keep in mind, so not going to pick him off with that last hit. Dunking down is the Odin. Odin's so tanky at this point. You see the physical damage being done to the Odin is quite low. He does have tier 1 Mystical Mark and also tier 3 Void Blade. So a lot of physical protection for the Odin as Sobek comes in trying to do some damage to the Odin. Dropping him quite low. Charge Spray on a minion as he jumps at the exact same time. Desert Fury comes out, but not much damage coming out from the Honor. If we check out Honor, does have the Executioner, which doesn't give him much physical power, which is what his Impale and Desert Fury are reliant upon. As 4 players from the blue team come to gank the right lane. Jumping on top. Hercules popping the sprint. Gonna jump on top of this. Earthbreaker does not land. Here comes the damage to it. Can they grab the Neath in time? Celestial Beam does come through. Backflip into tower range. No Earthbreaker available as the root comes out. Great root hitting the broken weave that she originally popped out. Charge Prey and the ultimate from the Neath. Can they pick up the Hercules? Driving Strike stuns the Sobek. Celestial Beam comes out. Does he have a Searing Pain? He does. He's going to try and go for this hit. Does not land it, unfortunately, as the Sobek does get away here in the right lane. Loki going for a kill on top of the Ra. Ra popping the sprint just in case. Does not want to get caught here, although Neath does not have mana to take him out. On her in the mid lane, trying to get some kind of advantage, trying to get that farm back up. But again, you see the Executioner being picked up for the On Her as his 3rd item. Not really beneficial for him as abilities go, but definitely beneficial for him as basic attacks go. On Her, generally more of a power user in the early game with the Impale and Desert Fury, so generally don't get Executioner that early. You see Titan's Bane picked up, very common item in the early game for, and On Her will allow more penetration for his ultimate and his Impale as well, as Thor and Agni going at it in the left lane. Aegis Sam is going to buy some time for the Ignite to come out. Can he pick out this kill here? So low is the Thor. Thor does not have enough to pop his Mjolnir's attunement. Agni trying to get this kill. Does he have an ultimate? He does have an ultimate. Just waiting for an opportunity for him to cut a corner and get it. He's going to go for it. Hercules coming from the mid lane. Path of Flames will not land. Ignite will kill him, and the Earthbreaker will miss on top of the Agni. Agni backing off. The stun comes out, but not in time as the fire goes out. Now in the left lane, Guan Yu coming. Hercules diving the tower. Might need to pop his 3 as the tower attacks him. Stuck in tower range. The rock comes out. Does hit twice on the Agni. The girdle comes out, and Hercules is in so much trouble here. Getting picked off by the Loki and the Guan Yu dash. So much damage in the right lane. We see the lane mates going at it yet again. Odin doing a good job of zoning, but they want that On Her so bad. Tail Whip's going to push him back. Cannot leap at this point. Unravel. Not going to hit. Good obelisk there. Desert Fury going after the Neath, but not going to hit at all as the backflip is immune to damage. Charge Spray coming out. Tail Whip will pick off the On Her, but Neath will fall to the Odin. Now it's support tanks going at it here in the right lane. So that was a 1-for-1 exchange. Both physical carries dropping there to their enemy support tanks. Guan Yu in the left lane. Guan Yu doing such a good job of catching people out and popping the girdle at the right time. You saw Agni baiting that out into the tower. Hercules, for some strange reason, dove the tower trying to kill his teammate, his real-life teammate, from Cursed Gaming, Pon, but could not get that kill as Guan Yu and Loki showed up at the right time to push that down. Left tower does fall for the blue team. Now we do see, again, a 500 gold advantage for the red team and a 1 kill advantage for the blue team here at the 22.5 minute mark. Red team's going to be going directly for a Gold Fury attempt. We'll see them if they can pick this off here. Titan's Bane being picked up by the Loki. Good early game damage item and penetration for the Loki. Audie doing a great job of farming. We see Audie's about to break the 10k mark, going into the 4 digits. 5 digits, actually, as I can count, I promise. Gem of Isolation and Spear of the Magus being picked up by the Agni. Now going directly into Obsidian Shard. A lot of penetration for the Agni. Very, very common build. As Loki's getting kind of caught up. Loki level 16, 2 and 4. But he does get that Titan's Bane almost finished. The last level of Titan's Bane is quite cheap. Titan's Bane overall is a very cheap item. The left lane we see Thor going after cleaning this all up. Smacking this down. Very, very even. Until that Gold Fury got picked up, we do see the gold numbers going up by about 2,000 gold now for the red team as they get the 1,500 gold advantage from the 300 gold each per player. Loki going to be farming out the CDR buff. Thor pushing this down, does have the blue buff, so he can poke and push as long as he wants, but Loki's going to be coming from the left side. Agni in the mid lane. Neath and Odin going at it in the right lane. There goes that damage output. Thor pushing the tower. Neath ultimately going to drop down on the Thor as Loki and Guan Yu going on top, popping the ultimate just in time. Good presence of mind there by the Thor, making sure that he does not get stunned by that. That could easily be followed up by a stun from the Loki into a silence. and a stun from the Guan Yu, and then possibly could have been his death if they chained that perfectly. And this is a very high-rated game, so it's not beyond any of these players to coordinate that without any communication with the stun on top of the Neath ultimate. So very, very dangerous. Ra comes from the backside here, trying to go for initiation here in the right lane. Tail up comes out from the Sobek. Celestial Beam on top of the Neath. We'll get a double hit, triple hit almost. Searing Pain comes out. Quite strange Searing Pain from the Ra. Not really going to do much there as 3 players from the red team on top of the Sobek. Going to the left lane. Charge Spray on top of the Ra, pushing it backwards. Now going for the stun. Missing a meteor there is the Agni. Odin doing a good job of backing up, knowing they're in a tough spot here. Ultimate from the Loki is going to pick off the Honor. Again, the Honor does go down. That is going to be his third death of the game. As Ra heads back in the mid lane, popping that sprint quite effectively and getting out in time. Thor in the left lane, going to go for this tower as Hercules comes to the backside. This tower is guaranteed to die at this point. It's going to be their third tower for the red team, or for the blue team here, as the third red tower will fall. You see there's 4 towers up for the blue team, so red team is kind of behind in towers at this point. Definitely still up in gold after that kill over there. We'll see a 1,000. It's a 600 gold advantage for the red team. So close. So close. I mean, even with the kills, 14 to 13. Stun down on top of the Thor. Great usage there from the Agni. The stun will come down from the Neath right as the each time it ends. Now going after the Thor. Thor's going to blink away, but the fire damage from Agni's passive is going to burn him down. Agni trying to catch up to this Hercules as he pops sprint, trying to reposition himself. Odin coming for the backside. Loki still here. Sobek grouping up as well. Might still look for an opportunity to gank here. Going to clear up that wave with the Agni. We see one girdle, and unfortunately enough, Sobek and Neath don't have active items at this point in the game. Neath going for an Executioner after Devour's Gloves. 4v1 here in the left lane. Stun come down from the Agni. Good damage output. Sobek taking the tower. Going to back off there. Girdle might gets used by the Guan Yu, popping out his ultimate. Going after the Hercules. Hercules getting slowed by the Guan Yu. Now the Sobek ultimate comes out. Aegis Amulet used by the Hercules. Going after the Odin is the Agni and the Sobek. Damage comes out. Ignite will finish off the Odin. Now 4v2 as the Loki jumps on top of the Hercules. Hercules gets picked off by the Loki. Now Lonher in a lot of trouble. Tail Whip push Lonher further away as he pops an Impale. And an almost huge play there by the Honor, avoiding the damage output. Searing Pain will come down and not hit the Loki, missing it by a hair. The Charge Spray on top of the Ra might spell his doom. Use the Aegis Amulet. It's going to buy more time for the enemy cooldowns to come up as they do take him out. Ra dropping 3 players dead for the blue team. But a huge play by the Honor there. Pops the Albus to slow him down and impales the Sobek backwards, saving his own life. Unfortunately, could not save the life of his 3 teammates. At this point, we'll see a 3,000 gold lead for the red team after that triple kill and that tower taken out. Agni now going to the mid lane. Honor going after this Neath, but Honor is so far behind in farm at this point. Just now finishing the Titan's Bane. Going for damage output. Desert Fear will drop down on the Neath. Misses a bunch of hits, but hits the last 2, picking off the Neath. Great pick there by Honor. Neath stuck around for a little bit too long and wasn't able to get out in time. We see Wild Baptisters being picked up by the Guan Yu. If you look at the enemy team, we see Hercules, Odin, Honor, and Thor. So great presence of mind here from the Guan Yu, picking up 2 physical protection items in sequence here, knowing that 4 of the 5 players in the enemy team are physical damage output, and the 5th is a Ra who has a Doom Orb who keeps dying. 6 deaths for Ra, so not much magic damage coming out from him. So great play from the Guan Yu, knowing exactly what he needs to buy and when he needs to buy it, building his items specifically for what he's facing and not just building an item build. We see Sobek doing the exact same thing, picking up Breastplate of Valor into a Wall of Absolution and then going for Sovereignty. The Sovereignty is going to help out his team a lot, as that AoE aura for physical protection will affect all of his teammates and prevent the enemies from doing a lot of damage to him. Gold Fury should be spawning soon, as you see Agni and Guan Yu hanging out here. Gold Fury just now spawned. It's going to head over trying to pick this up for another 1,500 gold advantage, as Hercules in the mid lane does not have any idea that they're here. We check the vision for the bottom right corner of the screen. You will see the blue vision. They have no vision of the Gold Fury at this point in time, so they have no idea the red team is here. They might have a hunch, but they may not get here in time, as they do leash it, as Agni wants to back off, knowing it's not really a good time to do this in case the blue team does come on over. We see Fire Giant being warded by the blue team, covering up both the bottom side and the entrance to the Fire Giant lair. Sobek diving past the tier 1 tower, as Ra and Honor coming around the backside might be able to pick this Sobek up. Charge Spray, he's going to run through the tower, he's just not, he's going to head into the jungle. We see Guan Yu, Agni, and Loki heading over trying to help him out here. Hercules going to run into them from the backside, waiting for opportunity to initiate. We might see a team fight here. Honor might get caught out, going after the Loki. Loki dropping so low here. Sobek cleaning up the minions in the backside. Now we see Loki using the sprint to get away. Honor jumping out. Guan Yu actually pops the girdle of might, but it's not going to pick up anything, as they do dive on top of the Honor. They know he's squishy. They know when to get him. Popping the beads is the Honor. Going to be able to get out there in time. Guan Yu still in tower range. Odin jumping out. Does he pop the spears? Looking for an opportunity. If he traps the Agni, he cannot get out. 2 meteors wasted from the Agni not hitting anyone there. Do keep in mind that the 20-second cooldown on the ultimate, which means he won't be able to stack those meteors up very quickly. Celestial Beam clearing this wave here. Loki luckily making out there. No deaths for either team in that engagement. Very spread out. We saw Sobek zoning out in the backside. Hercules looking for an opportunity. Couldn't really initiate on anybody as Neith goes in the mid lane. Hercules fighting the Agni might behoove him to come over and take out this Neith here in the mid lane, as on her Hercules and Thor come back to the backside going after this Neith. Backflips down. She might be able to pick this up, but the damage output on top of the Hercules is so huge. Guan Yu going for the slow. Now on top of the Neith is a Searing Pain, going to finish him off in the mid lane. Tail Whip comes out. Odin Spears will come down on top of the Agni, who is trapped without it. And the Rock comes in from over the Spears, landing inside, killing the Agni. 2 kills here for the blue team. Thor does dunk down on top of the Loki in the backside. Can he pick him off? Loki pops the ultimate, does the backslam. Can he pick it off in time? Loki dropping so low here. Can he get away? He's going to pop a Vanish soon if he can get the movement speed advantage by running directly into the Ra. Ra will have the Celestial Beam, and the Mozo team will pick him off on the backswing. As Guan Yu now caught here, Ra does get picked off by the Sobek. Guan Yu wrapped, trying to get away. Body block, great body block by the blue team, surrounding Guan Yu so hard. Now doing damage. Guan Yu does fall. Sobek being the only remaining member for the red team, trying to back off towards the Fire Giant, but is it going to be enough? Thor blinking towards a great Tectonic Rift, slowing him down. Now Impale on top of the Obelisk, doing all this damage, but he's so tanky. Charge Spray throwing him backwards. Can he pick off the Thor in time? Might want to just go for it. Not really going to be able to get out here. Getting popped up. Can he go for the Thor? Misses the Sickening Strike. The Tectonic Rift won't hit him. Charges away. Are they actually going to miss this kill? Sobek actually gets away. Now they're going to go for Fire Giant. Sobek so tanky at this point. You would see 3 physical protection items up for the Sobek, and they cannot kill him. 4 of the 5 players on the blue team do physical damage, except for the Ra, of course. Building heavy physical protection for what you're up against means you'll be very tanky. Gonna finish off this Fire Giant for free. If we check the gold numbers, red team is still in the lead by nearly 3,000 gold, even after all those exchanges. 19-18 here at the 31-minute mark. This game is anyone's game. No one really in the lead at this point. Fire Giant buff does go to the blue team, so that will behest them for the gold disadvantage they're at as they go for the Gold Fury. The Gold Fury would be a huge pick there if they can pick this up in time. Does the red team know about it? Let's check the screen. The red team does not have vision of the Gold Fury as they come in here to try and pick this off. If they pick this off, there'll be a huge advantage for them. That will actually catch them up. They will be at a 1,000 gold disadvantage if they get this Gold Fury in time. Hercules tank this up with a mitigate wounds. Neith in the mid lane has no idea. They're just going to go around and farm. They're not going to pick this up. Looks like this is going to be a free Gold Fury on top of the Fire Giant for the blue team. Picking that off is the Odin. Now free gold. Look, they have about 1,000 gold disadvantage for the blue team. 19-18. Going on to the 32-minute mark. Sobek goes in to check the Fire Giant. Not going to be able to find anything there as the Fire Giant is dead. Neith cleaning up the damage buff. And we see a Void Stone being picked up by the Guan Yu. Going to give some good penetration to the Agni. You see Agni does not have a Void Stone up. So being nearby with the Guan Yu will make Agni do more damage, as well as the Sobek having that magic penetration and aura from the Void Stone. We see Loki finishing off the Void Blade and going directly into a Deathbringer. That's going to give him some survivability against the enemy team. Honestly, Loki should be buying more physical protection than he is. Maybe a Void Blade into a Witch Stone, or possibly other solutions, since the enemy team is so heavy on physical protection. This is one of the reasons why you want to split up your magic and physical damage when you're building a team comp, even in ranked solo queue where you don't really know your teammates. Just because if you have too much of one, it's very easy for your enemies to build up heavy amounts of one protection type, allowing them to mitigate almost all of your damage as they push into the mid lane. Thor, surprisingly enough, goes for a Magi's Blessing. It does a lot of HP, a lot of mana, and magic protection. It does have that passive rate 30 seconds. It does block a spell, which will help him with a Charge Prey or initiation from the Agni as well. As Guan Yu kind of gets caught out here, but he's very tanky, so they may be able to pick this up. Driving Strike on top of that. Dashes backwards. He might Girdle initiate it, turns around. Here comes the damage output. Neith ultimate on top of the Odin. There comes the ultimate from the Guan Yu. Now going after this. See if we can't get this down. Honor's going to jump out. Damage out from the Sobek, doing a great job of zoning here as the Hercules gets picked off in the backside. Loki going for that damage output. Now the Guan Yu going after the Odin. Odin jumping out, but isn't going to be enough. Audion wants to chase this down. Great impale by the Honor. Might be enough to save the Hercules. He dashes out there. Now backing up, but the Hercules is dead. So a 1 for 0 exchange for the red team. Charge Spray might come down on top of the Honor. Misses the Charge Spray, unfortunately, by a hair. And Honor's going to back off here in the mid lane. Still a 4v5. Do keep in mind the blue team does have that Fire Giant buff. Most likely will lose this tower, though. Loki going on the backside. Sovereignty finished by the Sobek. Huge item pickup for the red team. We'll have that aura physical protection for all the players meaning the blue team will do less damage. In the backside, we see Loki jumping on top of the Honor, gonna pick him off and then get on out. That's exactly how you play Loki, ladies and gentlemen. Look for an opportunity when no one's paying attention and kill someone instantly and then get on out. Social Beam Warrior's will pick off the Odin there. Charge spray on top of the Thor, pushing him back into the base. Aegis Damage getting used by the Guan, using him enough to save him. Maybe dashes away. Mill's Attunement, Searing Pain going to be there just in case, but the Mill's Attunement does pick off the Guan using the Aegis Damage. Is the Thor. Thor trying to dash away with the sprint is going to be enough. The damage is so high. The magic is supposed to get popped. Neith coming around, might be able to pick this up. Goes for the backflip, surprisingly enough, instead of a Spirit Arrow or anything else. Mill's Attunement will pick her off on top. The back swing does kill him. Raw in the left lane, trying to get away here. Getting zoned in by the Loki and the Sobek. Uses the Aegis Damage, but is it going to be enough? It is not. You see all those damage numbers coming out from the Loki, burning down the Raw. 3 players dead for the blue team. 2 players dead for the red team, as a huge pickup there by the Thor, played by Fat Master. Doing an excellent job of knowing exactly when he needs to go in to pick that up. We see Agni in the mid lane, and again, 5,000 gold lead for the red team, 1 kill advantage. So definitely a palpable advantage now for the red team. And most of the players did die for the blue team, so the Fire Giant buff is gone. Berserker Barrage here. It did fall off the Thor there. The Fire Giant should be spawning in about a minute as Agni goes for the blue buff. We do see Loki clearing up these buffs, trying to farm back up. We see the Deathbringers still tier 1. Wild Absolution being picked up, last item for the Agni, selling his Vampiric Shroud and buying a Rod of Tahuti for that last little damage boost. We see a Void Stone being picked up by the Sobek as well, and a Deathbringer almost finished by the Neath. Deathbringer being started and almost finished by the On Her. And then a Bulwark of Hope being picked up after the Hercules, going for an early game damage build, and then going directly into the Bulwark of Hope will help him with magic damage, and also the passive, which reduces your damage taken for a short little second, which could be enough to save your life in a clutch situation. Again, huge advantage for the red team. Blue team playing from behind here. Right lane Sobek going over to clear this up. Might want to pick this up. Odin coming around. Might try to get this set. Still no active items for the Sobek, surprisingly enough. Is very curious, and I'm wondering if this is bugged out or not, or they're actually not buying active items, because this is so curious. With how cheap the active items are and how effective they are, there's no reason to not have at least 1 or 2 active items by even the 10-minute mark. Here we are at the 36-minute mark. Not really much left to do. Fire Giant does spawn. Red team does start it. Does the blue team know? They have a hunch. Hercules going to come over. The best from Cursed Gaming going to head over here trying to pick this up. Might throw a rock to steal it. Is it going to be enough? Throws the rock a little bit late, though, as it does fall in time. Driving Strike into it. Loki lands the stun afterwards with the Agni, now going after the damage. Pops the Aegis Amulet, but still caught out. Solar Blessing from over the wall trying to help. Thor going up in the air is going to be enough. It's not. Loki burns him down. Dunking down and missing everybody is Fat Master on Thor. Berserker Barrage on top of the Loki. Looking for opportunity to burn him. Mjolnir's Attunement comes out, but Hercules and Thor die, trying to dive the Fire Giant. Honor getting pushed backwards. Tactician's fans not going to land on anyone here as they try to go for the Honor. He jumps away with the Disperse. 3 players of the red team going after the Honor is going to back off. Rama get caught here in the mid lane. Loki, is it going to be enough? Loki's ultimate is down. Pops the aim strike. Odin from the backside. Still doing the Girdle of Might. Gets popped by the Guan Yu. Odin shout. Great spears there. Loki cannot get out of this now. Searing Pain comes down right as the aim ends. The Phoenix will get the last hit on the Loki, but Odin will fall in the process. Double kill for Pon on Agni. 26-23 at the 37.5 minute mark. This is looking very grim for the blue team, as the only player left to defend is the Ra. Agni coming in trying to pressure this. Sobek going after the right Phoenix. The mid Phoenix does fall for the blue team. Minotaur gets aggroed, but the Phoenix minions are already here. Sobek pushing this out. They're going to go for the right Phoenix, or trying to go for the throat maybe. Free damage on top of the Minotaur. Celestial Beam trying to clear the Phoenix minions, but Ra is so underfarmed at this point, he cannot solo defend. There's not a whole lot he can do to help out. The healing obviously will not affect the Minotaur, so cannot heal his main tank. Unfortunately enough, the Minotaur does reset, but we see 3 players from the red team going in, trying to choke this out. Maybe go for the throat. Stun on top of that, doing a lot of damage. The Minotaur dropped down to half HP. They do have the Fire Giant buff. Is it going to be enough? Tallow Assault, top of the Minotaur. One last hit from the Agni, getting so low, but the Hercules does respawn, pushing him towards the well. Going to pop the attached disadvantage. They might want to just go for the kill here. Rock comes after the Hercules. Hercules getting quite low, but the Minotaur will fall. So it's going to be the end of the game, guys. As we can go ahead and pause this and look at the score and go on through. 23-26, 27 assists, And one of the biggest things I can point out, and I point this out a lot because it is so crucial as you pull up the secondary scoreboard here, look at the total amount of assists. We see 23 to 26, very even amounts of kills and deaths for both teams, but 27 assists for the blue team and 42 assists for the red team. You see the kills are quite equivalent, but the assists are far and away very different. So you see that the red team is grouping up much more, doing very, very good together, playing in a very effective game, and making sure that if they get a kill, they're all together, they're grouping up and getting a lot of team fights in, whereas the blue team's getting a lot of solo kills. You can see if the kills versus the assists is very close, that means there's a lot of solo kills going on, and a lot of greedy, selfish, independent play being played out by the blue team. That would have been the biggest things that did happen for them. Also, they did lose out on the laning phase, and in the picking stage, you see that the red team is much more balanced in not only physical output, but also magical damage output, but also range versus melee. We see Loki and Neith. We have on her Thor, very good pickups, but unfortunately a lot of physical damage. They needed maybe more magical damage and possibly a magical damage mid versus a heavy physical lineup. That does prove to be one of their downfalls there as they do come on through and try to win this game out. But that's going to be it for me, guys. It's going to be the end of this SmiteReplays.com shoutcast of the solo ranked game. I will probably be doing coverages of the replays of the tournaments that do happen. I do shoutcast the tournaments, but I might redo them just to have the VODs for you guys to check them out and maybe do the finals and semifinals. You can let me know in the comment section below whether you prefer me to do the semifinals into the finals or maybe just cover the finals of every tournament. That way you always keep up to date on who's winning what and how anything ends up. That possibly would be a good idea if you want me to go ahead and do that. Let me know in the comment section below. But thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate your views and subscriptions, and look forward to seeing you in my next video or possibly up on the SmiteReplays.com website as that does come available.